Folks, my name is Andy Beshear, and I am the proud Democratic governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. If you don't know me, I'm the guy that beat Mitch McConnell's hand-picked candidate by 5 points in 2023. I'm the candidate that beat Donald Trump's hand-picked candidate by 5 points in 2023. And for context, Donald Trump would win my state by 30 points the next year. So I am standing here as living, breathing proof that Democrats can and should win everywhere in the United States of America. I want to thank you for the invitation to join you tonight at the annual Ben Nelson Gala, and I'm pretty excited that we can look right here and see what a great Democratic governor looks like in Governor and Senator Nelson. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a proud pro-union governor. I'm a proud pro-choice governor. I'm a proud pro-LGBTQ plus rights governor. I'm a proud pro-diversity governor. I'm a proud pro-public education governor. And I never thought I'd have to say this, I'm a proud pro-free speech governor. Now, some people will tell you that a guy who's pro all those things can't win in a place like Kentucky, but that's obviously not the case. So the question I always get is one word: how? How'd you do it? How'd you win? We won by staying true to our values of compassion, of empathy, and of doing right by our neighbors. We won by focusing, thank you. We won on focusing on people's most pressing needs, on those daily concerns that they wake up in. We just saw this. Look at our massive wins on Tuesday. As the incoming chair of the Democratic Governors Association, I am thrilled that we didn't just win in New Jersey and Virginia, we trounced the other side and elected 2 amazing new governors. But it went beyond that, because Democrats won everywhere. Folks, we won a statewide race in Georgia. We flipped a city council in South Carolina. We won in places that people didn't expect because of a relentless focus on affordability, on making people's life just a little bit easier, just a little bit better. And in doing so, we sent a strong rebuke to Donald Trump. Our job has to be to take all this energy, but to do it again in the midterms. We're going to keep winning because we have to. I don't want to leave a broken country to my kids, and I know you don't want that either. To do this, we've got to talk to people and not at them. And we have to get beyond the what and start explaining our why. That's how I won counties in eastern Kentucky that normally go to Republicans by large margins, including Breathitt County, the county that J.D. Vance falsely claims he's from. He ain't from where I'm from. Donald Trump won that county by 59 points. I won it by 22 the year before. So I know we can win. And part of how we do that is explaining our why. For me, my why is my faith. See, my faith teaches me the golden rule that we love our neighbor as ourself. And the parable of the Good Samaritan says that everyone is our neighbor. My faith teaches me to do what's right for every Kentuckian, whether they always vote for me or have never voted for me. To treat them with respect, as people who just want a chance to live a good life, doing right by their family, their neighbors, and their community. We used to have a president who knew that. We've done this a couple times, but let's give a huge welcome to President Biden, who's here in Nebraska tonight. See, he was a president who governed not for red states or for blue states, but for the entire United States, pushing policies that led to the creation of jobs and investment in infrastructure all over the country. He showed up for Kentucky when we were hit by natural disaster after natural disaster, from devastating tornadoes, where he walked through my dad's hometown, where 70% of every structure had been destroyed, to flooding that had wiped out entire hollers. He was there to help. I am deeply grateful for that. Mr. President, thanks for a lifetime of service to our country. As you probably saw, Kentucky was hit by another disaster this week. Now I think 14 people have died and dozens more were injured. We're left with grieving families and communities that are reeling. It's hard. And so if you're able later, please consider donating to our Team Kentucky Emergency Relief Fund to help those families that have lost someone in such a violent and tragic way. It's a reminder that we've got to be kind and take care of each other. And you know what I saw that in today? Your great new mayor of Omaha. What a great leader. Whew. And in my friend, Harry Dunn. A guy who defended the symbol of our democracy, who didn't care if the person he was protecting was a Democrat or a Republican. He stood up to do his job, and you know what? He knows what history was that day. He knows it was an attack on his democracy. And while some people want to deny it, what I can't figure out is how they didn't take one look at Harry and turn around and go home. Let's thank him for his service to this country. You can give Harry a standing ovation. You can still see him if he stands up. In these difficult and chaotic times, the stakes could not be higher, and we need to govern like it. As Democrats, we have got to get back to the work of showing people that we are spending all day, every day, trying to make their life a little bit better and a little bit easier. Kentuckians know my focus is on their daily needs, that I'm fighting to create better jobs because I know these gains will make Kentucky a better place for every single one of our families. And they know I'm going to show up because that's what people who actually care do. Leaders can't be afraid to show up even when the conversations might be hard or the situations might be tough. I want to give you an example. When I first ran for governor in 2019, I won a town called Henderson by a slim, small margin, about 500 votes. Since then, we've opened the cleanest, greenest recycled paper mill in the country there, 350 great new jobs, paying $40 an hour before benefits. Yeah. Now, this mill is in a former coal mining town that, like too many places in my state, had felt forgotten and overlooked. I'll tell you, I'm the first Kentucky governor to ever say the following phrase: climate change is real. Because it is, and we've got to do something about it. But what's also true is in how we've sometimes talked about it. We've forgotten the fact that environmental justice came before the phrase of economic justice. That the people who mine the coal, that helped power this country to the Industrial Revolution, that helped create the strongest middle class we've ever seen, that helped power us through 2 world wars, were left behind and forgotten when the energy economy shifted. But what I saw that day was when you provide opportunity, when you don't dismiss communities like this, when you show up and fight for them, regardless of what the politics were like before, people will vote differently. In 2023, I won Henderson by 1,500 votes 3 times more than 4 years before. That's how that Democrats can win in these areas that have been slipping away. Because I'm not showing up to announce red jobs or blue jobs. I'm not showing up to announce anything political. I'm showing up because 350 families are going to have their lives changed forever, are going to be able to take their kids to see a doctor, are going to have a chance for their kids to go to college, to save for retirement, and you know what? To not just be able to pay the grocery bill at the end of the week, but to be able to take their family on that vacation every year or so. That's what the American people want. And they know that's what I want for them. They know the why because of what I do every day for them as governor. And because they know that about me, when I do something that maybe they don't agree with, but I have enough respect to explain my why, they give me the benefit of the doubt. Let me tell you some examples. As governor, I've now restored voting rights to over 200,000 Kentuckians that can now participate in our great democracy. Why? Because everyone deserves that second chance. I finally got medical marijuana passed in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Why? Because no one who's going through cancer or dealing with PTSD should have to suffer instead of having access to relief. By the way, President Joe Biden just beat cancer and rang that bell. Congratulations. I removed a statue of Jefferson Davis from my Capitol Rotunda. Why? Because a glaring symbol of bigotry and division doesn't belong in any rotunda in our country. You know, the federal administration wants to make diversity a dirty word. They want you to believe that equity means that everyone isn't worthy of opportunities. They want to rewrite the hard-earned truths of our history. It's not how we do it in Kentucky. By executive order, I made Juneteenth an executive branch holiday for the first time in our history. Why? Because it's an important moment that deserves to be recognized. That same day, I signed an executive order based on the Crown Act. Why? Because no one should be discriminated against because of their hairstyle. I vetoed 4 anti-choice bills that have come to my desk, and one of the most extreme anti-choice pieces of legislation we've ever seen. Why? Because even though some people may disagree with me, that's what the women of Kentucky deserve. I recently issued an executive order banning so-called conversion therapy in the Commonwealth. Why? Because it's torture, pure and simple. I vetoed every piece of anti-LGBTQ legislation that has ever made it to my desk. Including the nastiest piece we'd ever seen. They passed it during my election year in 2023. They had about $10 million ready to launch these nasty ads. And I vetoed it anyways because it was the right thing to do. But I explained my why. I said my faith teaches me that all children are children of God, and I didn't want anybody picking on those kids. If my legislature was going to show them hate, I was going to show them love. If they were going to show them a judgment, I was going to show them acceptance. But folks, I'll never forget the next day I'm opening up a factory, because the next day we always have to be opening up a factory. And a guy in a trucker hat makes a beeline towards me. And I think, oh my goodness, I know what's coming. But he stuck out his hand and he said, Governor, I'm not sure I agree with what you did yesterday, but I know you're doing what you think is right, and I support you. When we explain our why, we create the grace and the space for people to think differently, or maybe for people to even be able to disagree. I did those things because even though people might disagree with me, I was willing to explain my convictions, to have enough respect for them, to not just talk about that what, but the why. But they also knew that that next day, I'm going to be right back out there announcing new jobs, opening a new health clinic, or opening a new road that could cut 20 minutes off of their commute. That's the deal I've made with Kentuckians, and that's the deal Democrats should make with all Americans. I believe that Donald Trump won because he was able to convince that last small group of undecided voters that he'd be less focused on culture war issues and more focused on lowering costs and lowering inflation. Now the lights have gone out on the Trump administration. Because that's the opposite of what he's doing now. What you're getting from Donald Trump is chaos, incompetence, and cruelty. What we've seen in office is an obsession with culture war issues and a willingness to gamble away our economic gains on non-economic issues. Donald Trump is tearing apart our democratic norms. He's gutting our social safety net. He's weaponizing our National Guard. He's decimating our intelligence community. He's hurting public education, and he's telling your kids they have too many toys. The government is in shutdown, and the only reason that people don't have their full SNAP benefits is Donald Trump is telling his government not to pay them. A guy who could send $40 billion to Argentina in a shutdown can fully fund SNAP, and I'm proud that I filed suit, and we're going to get those benefits out to every single American who needs them. I'll close by saying that Donald Trump is trying to keep us distracted. He thinks that we are defenseless. We are not defenseless. We stood up on Tuesday. We told him we would fight back, and we will continue to fight for the future of this country because, like I said before, we will not leave a broken country to our kids and to our grandkids. As we look to the future, folks, we have got to win the U.S. House of Representatives in 2026. And we have to win governor's races all over the United States of America. Because if you want to fight in 2028 and have our next president determined in more than 5 states with zero margin of error, we've got to flip a lot of governor's mansions. I'm going to be out all next year, and we are going to win governor's races in places that you would never expect. But tonight, as you look around, you can see that Democrats are reorganized. We are ready to get out there and win. But let me ask you, are you ready for this fight? Are you ready to volunteer? Are you ready to knock the doors? Are you ready to elect Democrats in Nebraska? Are you ready to flip that U.S. House of Representatives? Are you ready to try to win back the Senate? Are you ready to elect a Democratic president in 2028? All right, Nebraska, we need you. We love you. Let's get out there and win. Thank you, Democrats.